because I'm gonna go through it, but I'm not gonna like hold on anything in particular in the comic. Um, yeah. So this though is like this is a bunch of, let me see if I can find, yeah, these guys. It's a bunch of like artists and writers, creators, whatever. Um, Getting together, making a shared bunch of shared connected universes under this Ghost Machine label.
Oh,
Um,
that's pretty good.
it's independent, yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because this is like the preview, and the way it kind of breaks down is like some of these are already out. Like you can already get like if you pick this up and you're like, oh, I like Geiger and Redcoat and the first couple stories in the beginning. I'm pretty sure they have issues already out, trade paperbacks already out. So some of this stuff is already available. But there's like a superhero universe. We'll look at that. There is a sci-fi universe. There's like a, you know, more family friendly kind of comics universe, right? Like, you know, science and kids and, you know, whatever. It's more, you know, not super adult and good for kids, good for families, whatever. And then there's a horror universe. So I thought we would go through and kind of look at each of them, and I'll give my thoughts on all of them. Um, but I was pretty I was pretty impressed, man. Because one of the things that's like very interesting to me about it, and each of these concepts is like you've kind of heard them before. You know, you've kind of seen them somewhere before, but I like the twist. Um, so Koslas said he'd be okay. Yeah, he'd be gotta feed the dog in 20 minutes though, so he might miss the beginning. No worries. Then we'll go forward and we'll look at the first thing. Um, I won't like. I'll flip a little bit, give you a little bit of art there. I know for a fact that there's like a bunch of Geiger comics out. This radioactive dude. I think there's Redcoat comics out, but we'll blow right past the innards in case anybody wants to get this for themselves, and we'll look at this. Um, this is kind of their superhero universe, I guess. They give you a timeline, um, but immediately this concept, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So it's like the like beaches in Death Stranding with the like war zones kind of thing, right? Like the whole thing of this is like it's different, you know, warriors or whatever, soldiers from different eras, who are you know, the unnamed soldiers in the unknown war or whatever. Um, and I thought that was kind of cool because it's a little, you know, it's like Junkyard Joe is a robot that fought in Vietnam. Like Redcoat is a British assassin who's like immortal. Um, you know, Geiger's like a radioactive guy. So I was like, okay, kudos. You know what I mean? That like if you're gonna do superheroes and you gotta make it
Well, very
interesting.
very hard to make superheroes interesting in the in this comics realm
And
lately,
at
I
least
find.
this is
But this is very
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah, that's, you
Yeah.
know, so I'll read this for you. Throughout history, unlikely and strange heroes have risen and fallen. These men and women are a mystery, their identities and lives a secret. But for a great evil to be stopped, their stories must be told. From a radioactive family man in the near future to a British assassin during the American Revolution to a robotic killing machine seeking its creator, and more, they are the unnamed fighting the unknown war. That's a good pitch. If you're making a comic, this little paragraph right here, if you're reading a comic and you read a little paragraph like this and you get a ton of nice information in a short little burst that sounds really like that interesting, like kudos, good job. This seems like it would be fun. Um, and you know, the way this will work, because it's like I said, you and I are manga guys, but each of these things is its own little, you know, line, and you can get single issues. Like you'll be able to get, you know, a single issue of Junkyard Joe or whichever one you want to follow, and it's all, you know, interconnected, and that's neat, right? I like that one. That's great. This stuff's already out, so it's a good opener to it. Because I didn't know that. Like I picked this up thinking this was the, like, you know, first ever appearance of some of this stuff, and then I was like, oh, whoa, okay, I didn't know you could already go pop on to, you know, your local comic book provider and find like an 80-page book for some of these characters. I think it's just Geiger and Redcoat, and you know there will be more, but they get little bios and stuff. Nifty, right? Pretty neat.
Hmm.
What do you think? Interested? Not interested? What's your just because you're kind of like the producer around here. You're like an ideas man. How do
I'm mostly usually pretty silent on mangas and comics because I don't read many comics, but this one seems one like I would actually read. The
how,
first one actually that I would actually read.
how do you feel about some of these character designs? Can you see some of these? Because here's Junkyard Joe. I like him a lot. I actually like the idea of like a little soldier bot who's basically immortal, and it's interesting, man. I'll give you that.
It's reminding me of The Walking Dead kind of the style.
Oh
Not sure if
yeah,
it's just
it definitely has like I don't know. I gotta see who's on it. See, I'm not even really trying to bias myself or care too much about who's drawing what in this. I picked this up just to look at the pictures and read it. You know what I mean? Like we talked about this with the
Mhm.
Silent Hill thing yesterday. Like I just was like, oh, okay, cool, Ghost Machine. I'll pick it up and read it, and then I'll figure everything out after. Um, but yeah, this one's like that. This is definitely more just like straight up superhero comic type stuff. It's just that I like this. I like this take too. All right, this one's the sci-fi universe. So I guess I'll flip through and I'll see if there's anything. That little paragraph at the front might be the best thing to look at, but I'll show you some of the artwork, some character designs. I didn't know what to make of this one. I would say of everything in here, this one was like my least favorite, but it's another one where I'm like, oh, okay, the concept I've kind of like similarly heard before. There's all your different masks, I guess. So let's read this one at the front. A struggling farmer from Earth was given a second chance on the planet Exodus, a terraformed world where every aspect of nature is controlled by humanity, including the winged scavengers who plagued his crops. Now called Rook, the farmer became one of the wardens, those who wear helmets capable of commanding an animal species. But when the world's engine failed, the power of the wardens fell into the wrong hands. Those who could
oh
afford,
my.
yeah, those who could afford.
10-year-old Harlem would be the biggest fan of this thing.
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, those who could afford to fled, forcing those who left behind to choose between trying to escape this war-torn world before its destruction or fighting to save it. So there's kind of like almost like a not Hotline Miami, but there's like a thing going on here where everybody's got these animal masks, I guess, and they control. They're the warden of that beast or whatever. So, yeah, I get your thing of 10-year-old you would be all about this. It does have kind of like a, you know, there's something going on here. It's mixing a lot of different things, and it's like Power Rangers, Thundercats. Like
I would die if I saw this thing when I was 10. Like, look at this page right here. Choose your animal. This is cool.
yeah, so each of these characters, will have their own book, and this is all another shared universe. And I like the art style in this one. It's very like, it's got some movement to it. The colors are cool. It's kind of hard for my document camera with the glare.
It reminds me of Dark Power Rangers Vault Force, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it goes pretty hard, but this was one where it's like, I said it was my least favorite, but I only say that because it's like I don't feel like I have quite enough of a sense of it yet from the preview that I had here. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? It's not like I disliked it. It's just like, this is one where I might have to see a little bit more than what I see here. But I do like the character designs in this. This is one of the, because I'm looking at these two and I'm thinking, how far can these go? Like, will we ever see like these characters in video games, where we see people start talking about these characters? Because this is a very early, like, this is just launching. Pretty much all of this is just launching this year, and onward from here. Because as far as I know, there's nothing. Yeah, coming in April, so there's nothing out other than this preview for Rook. So that might be one I pick up a number one of or something. Family Odysseys was 2 comics. So it's Ghost Machine's family universe. It's full of heart, heroics, and humor. Wonderful, vibrant world of relatable characters and extraordinary circumstances, all focusing on the importance of family, both born and found. So this is like, I don't exactly understand who reads these comics. Maybe they're just like fun little, kind of like, oh, that was neat, that's a cool story. um but I did like what they set up. Like there's like a science family, and I'm like, all right, science family could be interesting. Science family from the future, the rocket fellers or whatever this is. Yeah, the rocket fellers. Like, okay, fine, I'll give you a shot. You know what I mean? Like, I felt neither here nor there about that. I just think that could be interesting. But you might like this one, because this one's kind of like something else. Um, what is the name of this one? These two kids play baseball, but what is it? Hornsby and Halo. This one was like, actually, I like the story more than I like stopped to think about it in its own universe. I like this little preview as a self-contained story. There's like this boy, this young lad, and then this like redheaded girl, right? And I don't know what's going on, but they have some sort of superpowers, and there's like some sort of government agency keeping track of them, or something's keeping, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. So this could kick ass. Like this could go far and get animated and be like a fun little thing. I actually really liked it. And there's like this insinuation, I guess. If you look at, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. If you look at their like shadows here, that like one of them is like got fire devil powers, and one of them is like, got celestial angel powers or something. It was a good story. This was like one of the things where I'm like, wow, this is actually like a full story with like a nice tight little bow on it in this preview, and that interested me. But the family stuff, I say I can either take it or leave it. I don't read like slice of life manga or anything like that, so this isn't really for me. The last one I talked to you a little bit about, this is why I wanted to bring this on when we were talking Silent Hill, dude. This is the horror one. I'm really interested in your opinion about this. Are you familiar with like Tales from the Crypt?
No, not really.
Or like Creep Show, or like any of the old like horror comics?
I think the only thing horror related that I consumed from the USA book related, I think it's Goosebumps when I was younger.
Okay. All right. No, that'll work, because Goosebumps is a bunch of stories. You know what I mean? So this opened up with like these old style ads, like you'd see in the back of old comic books, for like goofy toys and shit. Have you ever seen these before?
Not sure.
So see, I was wondering how familiar this would be to you. In the back of like American comics, right? They used to have like pages like this of like stuff you could order. And this is all just like an introduction to the horror universe. But the way this works is like Hyde Street, the whole universe. It's like it's like a place that can appear anywhere. It's like Silent Hill. Like it can just show up, and suddenly you're on Hyde Street, and you're in a horror story. And I thought this was like I didn't get enough from the preview, but it pitched the concept well enough. I'm very excited for this one, because I love the Twilight Zone. I love like Creep Show, and like the kind of like episodic, just like single slice horror stuff is so good, man. And it's really good in comics because of the page turn. Like the page turn is such a weapon in horror comics, because you can really, you can do a lot with it. But yeah, there's like, I think that's like pretty much all I've got to say about this one. It seems like it's gonna just be like wild, because it doesn't care about time or place at all. Like any one of these comics could be modern day, ancient. This one seems interesting, where it's like, at first I was reading this and I was like, there's no way that they're doing this. But this is literally like this fat woman walks into this thing that's like fat free. It's like a weight loss thing, and this woman gives her this shit called Devour. And I'm like, no way, this fat woman's gonna like eat people? That's really gonna be one of the comics? Like I love shit like that though, dude. That's like because a lot of the times this stuff is horror and it's funny. I appreciate that. So there's the end. But yeah, here's the release schedule, I guess. So Geiger, Redcoat, Rook, and then here's the rest of them. So Devour, First Ghost, more from Hyde Street, Hornsby. So I thought this was awesome. I didn't have any real expectations going into it at all. And then yeah, you can get these now if you're interested. You can go get the volume 1 trade paperback of Geiger and Junkyard Joe if you read this and you're like, "Oh hell yeah, I'm in. I'm sold." Um but yeah, I thought dude, for 4.99 I was thoroughly entertained, and I'll be checking out, something else. Dude, hey, what's up, Coleslaw?
Not too much. How's everybody doing?
Doing good. I got to turn you up, I think. All right. Yeah, we just went through the Ghost Machine thing, man. It was good. I'm giving it a recommend. Harlem, both of us are not really we're not really comic book guys as much as we're manga guys, and we have some not, some loose knowledge of comic book stuff. And we're pretty open about that, but even Harlem was like, "Okay, some of this I could get down on."
Mm-hmm. I like out of the what is it, the four of them that they're showing off. I like Geiger and Redcoat probably the most. I think those are probably my favorite of the concepts.
Well, they're all. I mean, I'll open it back up for you just so you can see, because this is all four of the different universes. So like, it gives you a little bit of Geiger and Redcoat. They're all in the superhero universe, the unnamed. Oh, I gotta pull it back up on screen for you. Well, here you go. And then, but Rook is a sci-fi universe, and Family Odysseys is like, PG comics, and then Hyde Street is horror. So this has the other three universes that are under Ghost Machine. If you wanted to pick this up, for yourself, because you can already get trade paperbacks apparently, for Geiger and Junkyard Joe. I looked and they've been running since like 2022 or something.
Okay.
But the other universes, like Rook launches in April, and then from there you get Hyde Street and some of the PG comics, and they were all pretty good, man. I found something in each of them. I was not displeased. You know what I mean?